Welcome to Writing with Rex with your host, the Theosaurus Rex. Writing with Rex is a fun and exciting journey that we have. Basically, I have a long commute home, and I got the idea from the Christian Commute, another good podcast to check out. He also has a long ride home. So what we do is we talk about stuff. His is a lot more structured, it's a lot longer, all that kind of stuff. Mine's a little more laid back, and this allows me to continue to bring content to y'all without having to put so much effort in some of my other ones. And I know it may not seem like there's a lot of effort, but I do a lot of background stuff. But anyway, so today I'd like to talk to y'all about the idea of pragmatism and how that kind of works and how I kind of apply that in my life. Pragmatism is commonly referenced as the let me back up for a second. So my major in my undergrad was political science, and I got my MDiv, Master's in Divinity, in Christian education. And one of my classes that I had to take, in addition to my electives being philosophically or psychologically based, and then all the other studies I've done, one of the classes I took was educational philosophies. And one of the things I had to do, or we were basically given 6 different philosophies that we had to study. Realism, idealism, pragmatism, maybe that was more than 6. But we had to do a bunch of them over the course of the semester, and then had to do presentations. I did mine on existentialism and homeschooling philosophy, which wasn't necessarily a philosophical thing, but anyway, that's a side note. So anyway, pragmatism is one that really struck me. So I just wanted to give that to kind of give you a heads up about where I'm coming from. But pragmatism is the United States' contribution to the philosophical world. And basically the idea is it's really kind of critical of idealism, and I would say falls more under the realism umbrella, in that it looks at things the way that they are and says, okay, how is this? Why is it this way? And what's the best approach to it? We all are, in some ways, pragmatic in our just psychologically speaking. You know, if we're given a task, let's say you're given 6 tasks, the first thing that you might do is go and say, okay, what's due first? Let me do that one out of the way. Or what would be the easiest to get out of the way first? You kind of prioritize things based on urgency and other factors that you yourself decide. And then after that, you go and you systematically go about solving them. Typically, and not everyone's the same, but that's about the way. But that's a very pragmatic way of doing things. I've got to figure all these things out. What pragmatism doesn't take into account, it doesn't really take into account emotional things. It's very fact-based, and that's why it falls more in the realism camp. The downside to pragmatism, so in that sense it's really good, and it also has benefits in the sense of being able to look at things and determine what's most important, and then based on what's most important you can deal with it, and you're not dealing with a lot of fluff. It's really critical of, pie in the sky, way theological, way philosophical theories that have no real world application. I guess the big thing with pragmatism is I'm going to say like a lot of different ways, because depending on who you talk to anyway, the big thing with it is that it's about what's here and now, what do you have in front of you, and what are you going to do about it. A really good example of it would be with Frodo and Sam in The Lord of the Rings. Frodo's like, oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And Sam's like, well, by all rights, we shouldn't even be here. But we've got to deal with it. We've got to go through this. Or when, and he has this great thing that he says, I recommend you look at it. All you got to do is type in, by all rights, we shouldn't be here, Sam Gamgee. Or another example, and I'm going through the Lord of the Rings again. I just went through The Hobbit. Frodo's like, I wish the ring had never come to me. And Gandalf is like, so do all who live in such dark times. But it is not for us to determine that all we can do is decide what do we do with the time we are given. So pragmaticists would argue that, hey, yes, this is a terrible situation, but we can't keep lamenting. We've got to just get on with it. And we've got to just do, what are we going to do with the situation we've been, the hand we've been dealt, the situation we've been given. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why it's a very American kind of just in general, is that it's okay, look, you know what, doesn't matter what comes at us, we're just going to deal with it, adapt, improvise, adapt, overcome, right? Now, downsides to pragmatism is that sometimes you can focus on what's in front of you so much that it doesn't work. Like, if you're just trying to survive and get through the day, eventually you're not going to be surviving at all. It's going to be terrible. Like, if you're just, I gotta get through the day. I can't talk to anybody, I can't be around people, I can't do this, I can't do stuff that I enjoy, I just got to get through the day. Well, if you enjoy hanging out with people, being around your friends, and you're taking a very pragmatic approach of let me just get through this, well, your relationships with your friends and family will necessarily suffer. The other thing it does is it doesn't take, it can muddy up some of the waters, in the sense that sometimes the best approach to something may not be either the right approach or the sometimes the best, sometimes the most pragmatic approach may be more offensive to friends and family and stuff like that. So, as an example, you might have someone who you could come off as being uncaring. So let's say you've got someone whose their cat is having issues, and they've got to decide, okay, what do I do? Oh man, I've got the vet bill is going to be $1,000. Well, the pragmaticist would say, well, you just put the cat down. It's not worth it. You can get another cat. Well, to this other people who've had their cat for X amount of years, they're like, what? Why? No, I'm not going to do that. That's dumb, right? And so that's kind of one of your downsides and that kind of thing. So why talk about pragmatism? Well, first off, I don't think a lot of people are really familiar with that's how they kind of approach things. But also, I think it's pretty relevant when it comes to talking with social justice warriors, liberal Christians, whatever, all these kind of things. Social justice warrior Christians, whatever. Because, and I think that's important. I wish that they would have more of an understanding of that and why. Because I think a lot of us non-SJW people, dinosaur in my case, are very pragmatic in the way that they see things. So as an example, the pragmaticists, when given the option of looking at things, say, okay, so there's slavery that exists today. There are people in bondage. There are people, a lot of it's sex slavery, and a lot of it's, hardworking labor slavery. And so we've got that. Then we've got people who go in there and their ancestors used to be slaves. Okay? Were atrocities done? Yes. Were things that maybe have set them back in life? That definitely could be the case. Okay, so now that you have issues where there are people who are generally fine and they've just had bad luck and things have happened and maybe their own welfare and whatnot. So, right, so the pragmaticists would look at things and say, okay, what are let's look at this. What's a bigger issue? Is the people who are down on their luck and had nothing to do with slavery? Is it the people who are doing better than the people down on their luck, had slavery in their background, and probably could be doing better than they are right now? Or is it the people who are actually slaves? Right? And so the pragmaticists will look at that and say, okay, we need to deal with the issue of slavery. That's the biggest issue. That's providing the most evil, and we need to handle it. Real life slavery today. Then you go in a sense, okay, how do we take care of the people who are suffering? Let's take care of them now. Now we can have time to look at what's going on. Yes, things were done terrible to your ancestors back in the day. You seem fine by it. Things aren't maybe not as good as they could have been for you, but you're doing better than these other people, and that's why we have to deal with them first. Another example, you look at the whole idea of feminism. And feminism in the US or in the Western world, women have all the same rights. So before I'm worrying about a mythical wage gap or about, how body image is negative because of patriarchal forces, which I'm not a fan of that. I don't think that that's the way things should be. I think that we should be, I don't like the whole airbrush thing and the ads and all the other kind of stuff. I don't think that that's, whatever. So do I want to worry about that, or do I want to worry about people in non-Western countries where honor killings are still allowed, where people are raped and it doesn't matter? Well, you know what? I'm going to worry about the people, and I'm going to worry about the women who are oppressed, who don't have basic human rights, more than I'm going to worry about the people who have rights and have all the same equal rights, just may not have all the privileges or don't have the perceived rights that everybody else has, because there's a greater need and a greater evil that has to be dealt with. The last example I'll give. Okay, I hope that makes sense for some people. And I'll give one final example, and it just left my head, and I can't remember what it is. And talking about it like this is not helping. What could it be? Let's look at non-social. Okay, so there we go. Now we'll do one that kind of goes the non-SJW, and kind of goes the way where they another. So taking out political issues, and you can see how that can come off as abrasive to people who may be being affected to. Well, I don't feel that I'm being paid what I'm worth as a woman, and I don't like it when guys catcall me. Okay, good. Guys shouldn't be catcalling, but guess what? That's not the same as being raped. Right? And so they think, well, you don't think that my suffering is worth it. No one ever said that. What we're doing is we're comparing the two things. Now, let's go in the other way. The psychological concept that would kind of go along with pragmatism would be something along the lines of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Right? So where you're over here saying that, so you got to get the basics first, then you can worry about the higher up things, right? And so if you're worrying about, well, we've got to stop all evil, okay, that's cool. That's the top need in Maslow's pyramid. That's not the bottom need. That's not the any of that other stuff. So you've got to incrementally go. So first you need shelter, you need food, you need water. Once we've got that taken care of, then we can go up the next thing. So pragmatism in a way is really and then you go, then I think it's sex and needing and happiness and joy, that type of thing. And then it goes up to better arrangements and creature comforts and that kind of stuff. And so it just keeps going up. And then eventually you have the ability, rational thinking and going out there and being able to some of your more intellectual pursuits. But you don't have time to worry about intellectual pursuits when you don't have a house, you don't have any kind of shelter, you don't have food, you don't have water. You've got to focus on the other thing. And I think the pragmatist, when taking social issues like feminism, like racism, like all this other kind of stuff, it doesn't matter that you don't, that you feel that by a little girl dressing up like Moana is cultural appropriation, when you have people who are actually out there and being racist and saying based on your skin color, you are substandard. I don't care about cultural appropriation when you have people who are saying that other people are substandard because of their skin color, because of their race, right? Because you're trying to be up here at the top of the pyramid, and we've still got the issue of down here on the bottom, there's no food, there's no shelter, there's no water, right? So, and of course, I think you can tell where I kind of fallen on this, because I'm over here, I'm talking about my hands are waving, you can't tell because I'm on here, but I'm talking about pragmatism, and I think that it makes a lot of sense, and I think that's one of the reasons why Christians and non-social justice warriors get in trouble with a lot of your social justice warriors and your liberal Christians who are more emotional based, because pragmatism doesn't take into account really emotions. It doesn't matter if you feel sad. There's someone over here. If you feel sad because you don't get dessert, because there's someone over here that doesn't get a meal, right? So I don't know. Anyway, what are your thoughts on pragmatism? Do you find that you do that in your life? Does this teach you anything? Have you learned anything about it? I'd love to hear what you have to think. And I guess that'll be it. Cool. Sweet. How can you tell me what you think? You can look me up on Facebook /Theosaurus Rex. Probably change that to Saint Theosaurus Rex. On Twitter at ST/Theosaurus Rex. And you can always comment on here. Love to hear what you guys have to say. I know I'm up to five subscribers. The happy days are here again. But I hope you 5 subscribers are enjoying it. And that's one of the things, I will take 5 subscribers that enjoy the Theosaurus Rex and interact with me than 100 subscribers that don't even care. So it's all good. I thank you all very much. I will talk to y'all. Did this even continue recording? No! Okay, we're done. Yeah. I'll talk to y'all next time. Bye-bye.